a really important rule of negotiation is that any offer should be based on some kind of legitimate or objective criteria. In other words, the offer should be based on something that a third party, like a mediator or an arbitrator, or the other side, could look to as feeling grounded in something fair-minded. Hi, I'm Bob Bordone. I'm a senior fellow at Harvard Law School and the founder and former director of Harvard's Negotiation and Mediation Clinical Program. I'm also the founder and a principal at the Cambridge Negotiation Institute. So today we're going to take a look at a clip from one of my favorite movies, Erin Brockovich. This is a film that has tons of negotiations, and the one we're going to look at now is a settlement negotiation and how a plaintiff, played by Erin Brockovich, reacts to a lowball settlement offer. Let's watch.
Let's be honest here. $20 million is more money than these people have ever dreamed of.
Oh, see, now that pisses me off. First of all, since the demur, we have more than 400 plaintiffs, and let's be honest, we all know they're more.
Okay, I'm going to stop right here because already there's a huge amount of richness here. So if you're a negotiator, if you're a big law firm lawyer, to say $20 million is more than these people have ever seen is immediately offensive and violates so many basic rules of negotiation. Number one rule, if you're making an offer, you need to frame it in a way that makes it yesable to the other side. And framing it as an insult, even if it's a good number, it's just gonna, as Julia Roberts says here, piss them off. Secondly, a really important rule of negotiation is that any offer should be based on some kind of legitimate or objective criteria. In other words, the offer should be based on something that a third party, like a mediator or an arbitrator, or the other side, could look to as feeling grounded in something fair-minded. And here, the reason for the offer is simply, these are people who don't have a lot of money, and so they'll be super happy with $20 million. So from a negotiation perspective, I'm giving this a big fat 0. But let's keep watching.
More out there. They may not be the most sophisticated people, but they do know how to divide, and $20 million isn't when you split it between them.
Erin.
Second of all, these people don't dream about being rich. They dream about being able to watch their kids swim in a pool without worrying that they'll have to have a hysterectomy at the age of 20, like Rosa Diaz, a client of ours, or have their spine deteriorate like Stan Bloom, another client of ours.
So let's just stop here because we're seeing yet another violation of just a really basic rule of negotiation. And yet, frankly, as a lawyer, I can tell you lawyers make this mistake all the time. What they think is that everything ultimately comes down to dollars and cents. And it is true, dollars and cents matter to a lot of people a lot of the time. And clearly, it matters to Erin Brockovich here and the plaintiffs. But actually, most people in negotiation care about more than just dollars and cents. And one of the things we're seeing here is that there's a set of underlying interests that really matter to the plaintiffs in this case. For background, the plaintiffs in this case are suing the Pacific Gas and Electric Company, alleging that that company knowingly allowed wells to be polluted that are now making people in a neighborhood get sick. And so what you hear here is that the real interest isn't about how rich we are, it's about staying healthy, watching our kids grow up in a healthy way, not having to worry that because we were exposed to these chemicals that we or our kids are going to get ill and die early. And there's something here that the defendant's lawyer, the big law firm partner here, is just seriously missing in a way that puts this negotiation completely off track. There's also another interesting dynamic here because in fact, this is a negotiation, presumably between two lawyers in a settlement. But the person who's doing most of the talking here is the client, right? Erin Brockovich. And so another thing really good negotiators think about is who should be at the table, what role will they play, and who is going to be at the table. And to the degree that the defendant's lawyer knew that this was not a lawyer-to-lawyer negotiation, but this is a lawyer-to-lawyer with client present negotiation. There's no evidence that the lawyers on the defendant's side are aware of that. And so they are messing up royally here, although it is making for pretty good drama on film. Let's keep watching.
So before you come back here with another lame-ass offer, I want you to think real hard about what your spine is worth, Mr. Walker. Or what you might expect someone to pay you for your uterus, Miss Sanchez. Then you take out your calculator and you multiply that number by 100. Anything less than that is a waste of our time. By the way, we had that water brought in special for you folks. Came from Well and Hinckley.
I think this meeting's over.
Damn right it is.
So I'm going to give defendant's lawyer at least some credit here. I'm sure that she's feeling angry and embarrassed. And as great as Julia Roberts seems here, it's probably not a great negotiation move to make the other side feel angry and embarrassed. Because most people, when they feel angry and embarrassed and humiliated, they lash out. And even though defendant's lawyer here, Ms. Sanchez, is pretty crummy as a negotiator, I think she does have the wisdom here to at least end the meeting. She's gotten some helpful information, and hopefully this gives her a chance to come back with something in a more credible way, to have a reset for both herself and the plaintiff's lawyer. To summarize, really good negotiators avoid a number of errors that we see in this clip. First, they really think about the interests of the other side. Second, they think about how do I frame an offer in a way that's attractive to them by, third, looking to objective, legitimate criteria, not just what is this person willing to settle for because, for example, they're desperate or poor or not sophisticated. Lastly, really good negotiators actually know when it's time to step away. So in response to something that feels maybe demeaning or that's made you angry or that's made you humiliated, right? Instead of responding in kind, pausing, taking a break, ending the negotiation, and maybe coming back another day. So in the comments section, I'd love to hear sometimes when you've been made an offer that's felt really insulting. Maybe it's in a negotiation for a job. Maybe it's actually with your spouse or your family over where to go on vacation, or maybe it's one of your kids when you've been in a spat with them over, I don't know, a curfew time or chores. Leave your comments below. Before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and ring the bell so you never miss new content from me. Thanks for watching. Okay, it's not difficult to keep watching. Click, click.